Hello and welcome to Dumbphones UK. My name's Joseph. I look at dumb or dumber phones on the UK market, and today we're looking at the CAT S22 Flip. When are we looking at anything different? It seems to be the phone that is in vogue right now. Before we hop into that, please like, please subscribe. It helps the channel. It means that I can look at more phones in the future. So thank you very much if you do that. We're going to be looking at the battery life. I have done a video on battery life already. Here, hopefully that worked. But if it didn't, here, maybe. I wanted to basically use the phone completely. So to show you where the battery started, what apps I used, and then at what point it gave out. So we're going to hop straight into it. In this video, there'll be a lot of screen recordings to show you the battery level and where it is, and you'll hear me chatting over them. One thing that people mention about this phone is that you can replace the battery, or you can take a spare battery with you. So what you'd do is you'd undo the phone here, take the battery out, pop your new battery in. Now that is possible. It's not quite as easy as the old phones that we used to have on the Nokia. You take your case off, swap your battery around, and you'd be done. On this one, you do need something that's going to enable you to open this, so a screwdriver or, I don't know, a nail file, a knife. I'm not sure a knife's a good idea, but bear in mind that you can't just whip this off. Obviously, and if you wanted, you could take this out and then you could take the back off, absolutely fine, but then you lose the security of having the screw in. So it's a decision that you need to make, so we're going to hop into the video. Hope you enjoy it.
The battery of the CAT S22 Flip started at 100%, and I recorded my previous video, so I spent, I don't know, probably about 20-25 minutes on the camera, the front, the back, and you'll be able to see that in my previous video, and the battery finished at 84%. So 84% is the final total. The next thing that I did is I used Waze for an hour and a half. So I was driving to a gig and I popped Waze on and I did a quick screen recording of the final little bit, the little last leg of the trip, and I was able to find out what happened to the battery. Now, you'll see here that everything is in kilometers. I'm unsure why that was the case. We use mile per hour in the UK, and I don't really know why that happened, but I was able to get to the gig fine. So, with Waze, we started on 84%, as discussed, and by the end of it, we finished on 62%. The next thing I did was I left it in the cold car. While I was doing my gig, I checked the phone and the battery had dropped to 54%. The next thing I did was I just left it overnight. You can see it's 10:50 a.m. in the morning, and I thought I'd just check and see what's happened to the battery. It dropped to 43%, and then I loaded up Spotify. Now with Spotify, what I did there was I loaded up an album. I loaded up a band called October Drift, and I clicked play on their album. It's roughly 40 minutes long, and I just let that play. And you'll be able to see that from just letting it play, by the end of the album, the battery dropped to 34%. Then what I did was loaded up YouTube, and I loaded up a very long video. In this case, it was 10 hours of relaxation sounds, and I left that on for exactly an hour. So I started it at 11:43, as you can see in the top left. And by the end of the video, 12:43, bang on an hour, somebody set an alarm, you're able to see that the battery had dropped to 14%. I left the screen on for the whole thing, I left the volume up quite high, so it dropped to 14%, and then the final thing I did was all of the clips that I had taken and screen recordings I'd done, I hopped into Google Drive, I created a folder, and then I uploaded all of those clips. Now, what happened, as you can see, at 12:45, I started this process, and I uploaded them. I let them all upload. I connected to Wi-Fi. At 1:19, the phone completely conked out. So we went from 14% to 0% with the phone needing to be recharged at 1:19. So there we have it. That is using the CAT until the battery drops out.
Because there was a lot of numbers and a lot of percentages and a lot of things within that video, I'm going to step to the side and I'm going to try and list them all here to show you the difference between the numbers. Now, what surprised me, recording videos of myself, it didn't drop a huge amount. I thought it would drop more. Also, when using it with Waze, not plugged into anything, I thought that would drop more as well. When we started to get to the bottom of the battery, so down to your sort of 15, 10, 9%, That's when it started to drop much quicker. So, I mean, it makes sense, but I wanted to outline those here. God, I hope they're there. If they're not, I'm gonna look like a right oddball. So that was me using the phone and showing the battery again, because it seems to be something that people are quite interested in. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a lovely day, behave yourselves, and I'll see you next week for another video. Bye-bye.